back again here with Nile, talking about this week's theme, which is recovery. How are you, Nile?
I'm very well, thank you, Tyson, Lachlan. I'm very well.
That hurts, man. That hurts. First question for you this week was, can we get a brief video of you in doing your deep tissue release sort of workout? And can you also just explain a few little areas like particularly interesting or important you feel in that deep tissue sort of schedule, or however you call it?
Yeah, for me, I think you're going to want to be focusing on your upper limbs, and you're going to be using your shoulders, your pecs, everything like that. You're going to be using them a lot, so it's important that daily you're just rolling them out and you're getting some soft tissue work through there. They're easy to use. I mean, you'll see the equipment I have. It's quite handy in the fact that they're on a little string and they're on a rope, so the actual balls themselves, you can move them apart, and it's very adaptable, and you can get them in any sort of muscle and spend some time on there. I think regularly doing it daily is going to benefit you. So your muscles are regularly getting that soft tissue work, instead of you working out really, really hard, and then they tighten up really, really bad, and then you start. Whereas if you're frequently doing it, this is why I've put it in the program to spend a little bit of time every day. It's definitely going to be more beneficial.
All right. And is it also it's less painful, right, if you're doing it more frequently?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So like, I mean, the foam roller now for me, it does nothing, because I'm frequently using these balls, which you can get in deeper into the soft tissue. So that's the key. Just regularly doing it, it will become eventually less painful.
I suppose it's obviously customized to the individual. Everyone's got their own different tight spots. Do you sort of go searching for a tight spot, or do you just sort of go through the entire upper body? How do you sort of go about it?
Yeah, well, it's exactly right. I kind of know where I will be tight, and it's generally the same places every time. But I like to go through a little general routine instead of just focusing on one spot. I will, as you say, go up and down my back, get in my traps, my pecs. The backs of my shoulders are real key spots for me. Right in the cuff. So yeah, as I say, I've just got a little frequent routine that I do every day, which definitely benefits me.
Out of interest, do you do like the flossing where you pin it and you sort of are moving your muscle while it's being pinned, or is it sort of more just rolling over that same spot?
Yeah, I do like to do that. That's a great one in the pec, and I think it's just doing anything you can, really. Like any of this stuff is going to benefit you, and your muscles will feel more frequently looser and not get as tight.
Just for anyone that hasn't done this sort of deep tissue release before, from my understanding at least, and see if you agree, do you think the easiest way to find tight spots is just to roll around and find the most painful spot?
Yeah, just get in there, just experiment with it, and I think if it's going to be a real tight spot, you're going to know about it before you even use them. So that's exactly right. Just experiment.
Interested to know how you find the time and the motivation to do that 6 days a week. And just because for myself, I try to schedule it just before bed, though often when things get busy, it's either I sacrifice that or sleep, and I see sleep's obviously important recovery as well. So I find it difficult, so I'm curious to see how maybe you've got some good ways to be more motivated for it, or like stay more consistent.
Yeah, I mean it's getting into habits really, and I think I like to spread it throughout the day. So I won't just set out a half an hour block where I really spend time on it. I will do it more frequently, if you know what I mean. So even warming up in training, I will have them with me, and as soon as I've finished my session, I'll spend 5 minutes. And as you say, I like to do it sometimes before I go to bed, spend a little bit more time. And it's just getting into those habits. And if you say on a night you'd rather just jump into bed, maybe do it first thing in the morning when it's a bit fresh or something like that. But it's just, as you say, it's just squeezing it into your day, and I like to spread it out a little bit.
On the topic of the ice bath, how beneficial do you feel they are towards your recovery?
I really, really think they are massively beneficial, and I like to ice bath, not every single day, just a few times a week after the really, really tough sessions. I think you feel the effect more from that, doing it just a few times a week. So yeah, the gonna hot and cold sort of treatment is gonna prevent muscle soreness, and it's definitely gonna benefit you. And you will feel it in training.
I find it's incredible actually. Like since we've been doing it, I've hardly been getting any soreness, which is pretty unique considering how often we're training.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah,
good.
In regards to the sauna, do you feel they're beneficial in like the exact same way as the ice bath, or do you feel they're you know, even more efficient when combining it sort of with that extreme cold, the extreme hot? What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I really like to mix them together, and if you have access to be able to do that, then that's great. I'd like to sit in the sauna for sort of 15 minutes, get a sweat on, and then jump straight in the ice bath for 10 minutes, then back in, go back and forth. I think that's a really good mix.
Damn, that sounds crazy. I might have to try that. We've just been doing the ice bath on twice a week, and then on the off day we do the sauna, so we're doing it on different days.
If you can do them both at the same time, I'd recommend you try it. It really helps me, I think.
Yeah, that sounds like a really fun challenge.
You're not freezing cold for 3 hours after you've got out of the ice bath as well.
Yeah, nice. That's Alright, and out of interest, how many fluctuations would you normally do there?
Just 1 or 2, really. It depends. You can do one where you spend longer time, so you go 20 minutes, 10 minutes, or you could just do little 5-minute bursts or 3-minute bursts and do it more times. But just experiment with that as well. Just feel whatever works for you.
Do you suggest either starting or finishing on one or the other, like ice bath or sauna?
I just like to finish off in the sauna just so I warm back up, because I don't like feeling really cold.
Yeah. That sounds like a more intense version of the contrast shower, which we've done before, where you just sort of go hot, cold. So, yeah. My last question was just on flexibility and stretching. How do you go about your stretch sessions? Do you just go into the gym purely to stretch, or are you stretching at home?
Stretching for me depends. Personally, I don't need to focus purely on stretching for a session, because from when I was a kid, I spent hours and hours getting stretched out, to the limit, and my body's just sort of the maintenance. So the start of every session, I'll spend 15 minutes stretching, and I'll have a stretch out at the end. And obviously, I'm training twice a day, so I'm getting that regular stretching in, a bit similar to the deep tissue release. But I think if you want to make stretching sort of gains and become more flexible, as I say, you've got to spend more time on that. And I mean, for you too, you could help each other out. Use some of the exercises where you use a partner. For the shoulders mainly, it's important that you keep them loose, and I'd suggest at the end of every session that you work your upper body hard for, i.e. the ring sequences, the upper limb strength. You get together and help each other, really sort of get your shoulders stretched out to the limit. Some of the exercises that are on my video, and that's definitely going to help, and it's going to reduce the risk of injury as well. Making sure that your shoulders can get into that range of movement. When you're doing the work, it's less likely for anything to happen in there. Yeah, try it. I mean, it's like anything. The first time you do it, you will be in a lot of pain, and probably the range of movement will be slow. But you'll be surprised over the weeks, if you're doing it regularly, like 3 or 4 times a week, it'll get better and better, definitely.
Yeah, well, thanks very much, mate. That's some really interesting information there on recovery that we'll definitely be applying to our training.
You're welcome.